Hello and welcome to this webinar on helping you choose the right IT support for your business. So choosing the right IT support is so important. All IT support companies are different underneath their glossy websites. Some say they do everything and do, but others may not do as much as they promise at the outset. So this is a practical webinar to help you ask the right questions and hopefully find an IT support provider that will work well for you and ultimately propel your business. So propel its growth, propel its security, and just enable it to run much better. So first of all, you need to start with why do you need IT support? What situation are you in at the moment that is causing you issues and that effectively is stunting the growth of your company? So what will it help you with? Is it fixing issues that you've got? So broken technology, hardware or software? Is it trying to buy back your time or someone else's time? So often as companies get to a certain size, they will have internal people that are dedicated. But until that, often you've got people within the business that may be paid or should be doing a different role that end up doing more and more of the technology. So it's about releasing their time. Is it getting better knowledge? So IT is so fast paced. You really need to be either full time in technology, whether it's outsourcing that knowledge or whether it's having a full-time internal person. So it really is a tricky one to understand, but you need to be in the industry because it's constantly moving. So are you fixing best? Are you using technology that should be helping you, or are you using technology that's frustrating you? Is it frustrating your team? One of the biggest issues companies have is around getting and keeping really good team members. And often, if you're not giving them the tools that they need to perform at their best, they will leave. And it could be the fact of just having a newer machine or software that's better, but the amount it costs in recruiting fees and then the time it takes to get good new team members up to speed. Is it embarrassing? Do you have really old technology that's just a little bit embarrassing for you, for the business? Are you worried about security? Great businesses know that giving their teams the best tools will enable the business to grow faster and more sustainable. That's it, fact. So how do you know? So what is available? If you're a business owner, we're based in the UK and we provide IT support for UK businesses, but it's pretty similar around the world. But there's different IT companies that have different focuses. Where is their skill set? And does it match what you want and need to grow your business? So there's two main types. The first type is break fix. So this is essentially something's broken, you can give them a call and they'll fix it and they'll get the user back up and running again. But it's very much a sort of a hands-off approach. Just give them a call when something goes wrong. Often this can be a one-man band. Which now, depending on what you need and what your internal skill set is, this can be okay. But you just need to understand if you're using a one-man band, yes, they might be cheap and they might only charge you a low hourly rate when you need them and nothing else for the rest of the month or the year. But what happens if they go on holiday? What happens if they get run over by a bus? You know, if they've got all of your important data and information and you can't get hold of them, how much of an issue is that going to cause? So you just need to be careful. You know, where are they storing your data? Who owns things like the domain and your Microsoft licenses? If they own them and they get run over by a bus, you could be stuck. Whereas if you're going with an established company, then you'd hope that they are storing them and holding them in the correct way. And then the second, so there's only two types. First is break fix. Second type is an MSP. There is the official term, managed service provider. And this is what Syn-Star are. So this is all about proactive support. So break fix is very much if an issue happens, you phone them or email them or whatever, and they'll fix it. Whereas with proactive, it's much more around monitoring and then trying to fix the small issues before they become big issues. So it's around monitoring, updates, but do be careful, because there is, shall we say, a low barrier to entry to become what some people call themselves an MSP, but effectively they might have a monitoring platform that's very basic. They never invest any man hours in actually keeping their systems up to date. So they might say that they're proactive, but how proactive are they? You know, when do they update? You know, is it weekly? Is it daily? Are they monitoring 24/7? Prove it. Do they have reports on this sort of stuff? But you just got to be really careful. And how well trained are their teams? To be an MSP, they could just offer really basic support, but a true MSP invests in the best platform and really tries to drive down break fix issues. Then the next is understanding, what do they actually do? Because IT support provider, IT support company, they all sound the same, but they can be very different. Often, most will only actually do software fixes. So they're not interested in hardware. Do you need to buy your own equipment, or do they have a purchasing function where you can go to them and they will buy the equipment? They then sort out the warranties, they do the install, they do everything. Whereas other companies, they literally will throw you a Dell catalog and say, there, choose what you want, give us a call when it's in and we'll come and set it up. You know, so it really is, it's understanding what their process is for new installations, how much do they actually learn about your business, and how much will they take away the hassle. You know, what you really want is an IT company that you can just say, hi, we've got a new user, sort it out. You've already understand how the install is done, the setup, the pre-configuration forms and things. So it's just super easy. Also, the other thing is that if you're managing it, you as the client get to choose the hardware and the software. You then would buy unmanaged software. So essentially, you can buy a product off the shelf. If you get a cyber attack and you're using, let's say, an off-the-shelf cybersecurity package, something like ESET or Norton or one of those, if you get a major cyber attack, is it your issue or is it the IT company's issue? Whereas if they're offering fully managed support and cybersecurity, then generally they will take ownership of it. So yeah, you just need to be really careful if they're getting you to buy everything and they use random software, then effectively are they a master of none, as they say, because they're just using lots of different softwares and things like that. So you just got to be really careful with that. Also, then understand what's included. So when you look at their different packages, and often they'll have bronze, silver, gold, and all these sorts of things, but what is included? How do they charge? Do they charge per device? Do they charge per user? Do they charge per site? Do they charge extra for network equipment and things like that? Got to ask these questions and really understand. Is it unlimited? Often companies will say unlimited and there'll be a little asterisk next to it. And then it says maximum 30 minutes per user, that type of thing. So really ask the question, is it definitely unlimited? So if someone gets a major issue, will they help them until the issue is fixed? Or is there always an hourly or a monetary cap somewhere? Got to ask these questions. And then the other things that really come into it when it comes to support is what support? Telephone support, email support? Do you get unlimited number of tickets or is there caps? Do they include site visits? Do they include new installations? Do they include reconfigurations? Often, if you get a new user and you need to reset up the machine, is that included or will it be chargeable? If you buy your own equipment and you want extra things added, are they going to charge you to add them and then charge you extra per month? All these you need to ask the questions. Is additional software and add-ons included? How about extra setup fees? You really need to ask all these questions. What is included and what will be extra? And now, this is often, I mean, us as Syn-Star, when we're trying to recruit, so we make sure that we have completely separate people when it comes to new sales to then our customer relationship managers. Now, when it comes to things like strategic planning, are they going to help you plan your business, or is it salespeople that are going to help you buy more things? A really big one is ask them, do they have a dedicated happiness team? Or is it the salesperson that's selling you the contract up front? Are they also then going to be looking your account ongoing? If they are, guess what? They're just a salesperson. They don't have a happiness team or account managers. They're just salespeople that are going to be selling you stuff all the way through the life of the contract. So you really need to understand that, because salespeople are commission hunters. Account managers, client happiness team, their job should be to keep you happy, not to keep them happy by selling and making more commission. So it's a really good question to ask. Will they have a separate team, or is it the same person? Now, this is the biggest thing. So have they invested in how they support you? So do they do basic monitoring, or do they actually proactively monitor and add to these? Do they have a separate team of people internally that just work on proactive stuff? Or are they just full of break fix people and they've just got a managing platform that means that they can remote into your machines? Do they send you monthly reports? Ask them as well, what ticketing system do they use? Do they have a client portal? What password management do they use? What document management platform do they use? Ask them these questions, because there are huge differences. Some IT companies still use Excel spreadsheets and things like that. I mean, the cybersecurity of some can be terrible. So you need to be asking them what they use. How process driven are they? Are they ISO? Are they, do they do other things? Are they ITIL accredited? ITIL is the backbone, meaning that how their platforms and everything run. How proactive throughout the business is it? Do they have written, structured, turnkey onboarding processes? Most do not. They'll ask you for passwords and things and effectively say, give us a call if you've got any issues. So you need to understand that and ask the questions. You're trusting these companies with your company. So you need to make sure that you're asking the right questions. And here's the big thing. You've got to be so careful. Currently in the UK and globally, actually, the IT support industry as a whole, MSPs, is an unregulated industry. It's not like an accountant where you can ask, are you a certified chartered accountant? Solicitors, are you, a qualified solicitor? With IT, it's not regulated. It's coming. We do think it's coming, which is going to be a great thing. It'd be really, really important. But currently it is unregulated, so just be really careful. Also, how solid is their service level agreement? So the service level agreement is everything around how good the support will be and then what they promise to deliver. We've seen service level agreements on some of our fellow MSPs that say that their SLA is X, so let's say 4 hours, but they guarantee to hit that 97% of the time. So effectively, that's rubbish. I mean, the service level agreement needs to be 100%. It needs to be a guarantee, and then it needs to actually state what you get if they miss. An example would be Syn-Star offer a 2-hour guarantee in an emergency, or you get the month for free. Really, really simple. So if Syn-Star miss the service level agreement, that's exactly what happens. So it keeps us focused, but we actually have a solid service level agreement. Do they have indemnity insurance? Often they don't. So if you get sued because of a cyber breach that they caused, what's the knock-on effect? Do they stand by the support that they're offering? So many don't. When were they established? Check this on Companies House. Check the owners. Check the main directors, because often an IT support company will do something wrong, close down and restart. And they might do this multiple times. So you need to really check these things. But you can go on Companies House for free, look at the company, when was it established, and also then delve into the directors and what other IT companies did they or do they currently own? You're trusting these, again, I can't reiterate enough, you're trusting your IT support company with your business, how well your business runs. So it's just making it sure, because if you get it wrong, this can be really costly. And then the final element is just understanding, do they offer a total technology solution? Are they a one-stop shop, or do they only offer one of the areas? Now, we've broken it down nice and easy for you. 3 areas. There's IT support, there's telecoms, and then there's cybersecurity. Now, there's some things that, yes, you may want to do separately, certain certifications and things like that. But generally, an example would be if your company isn't certified to do, if the IT support company isn't able to do cybersecurity, so let's say Cyber Essentials certification, then if you need to go to a third party, you'll need to pay them in full from scratch. Whereas your IT support provider should know most of the things that you need to know. So it's just much more easier, cost effective if your IT support company does everything. It's much easier. One phone call to call for any of your technology issues. It's so much easier for the user, so much easier for the business to understand. But also, are they going to help you with a full strategic 5-year roadmap and 5-year budget? So if you've got any questions around it, here's our details. So this is my email address. You can check me out on LinkedIn, but also check out Syn-Star on all of the social media platforms. So we hope you've enjoyed this webinar and that it was of interest if you are looking at which IT support company to choose, whether hopefully you might consider Syn-Star, but if not, hopefully you do ask some of these questions to any potential companies that you're looking for. So we've had a few questions come in. So if let's just flip to those, let's just go into the chat channel. Right. First question, how difficult is it to switch? So actually, to switch IT providers, it's relatively simple. As long as the new provider, I mean, ideally, they want all the information that they can. But if they just have admin details for your main information, so if you've got servers, so routers, admin credentials for that, access to your Microsoft 365. Generally, you as the company should be an admin user anyway, so you can normally give that. But yeah, it's relatively easy. I mean, if it was from Syn-Star's perspective, we can switch, we can take on a new client, and then we do such a detailed onboarding that actually we would know probably more up-to-date information than what the current company does. So yeah, it is relatively easy. It can seem daunting, but Syn-Star's got a very solid turnkey process for doing this. What ticketing system do you use? Right. So I did ask that question earlier on. Yeah. So we use Autotask, which is a Kaseya platform. Kaseya is probably one of the biggest platforms in the world for our industry. So, and we are fully ITIL accredited and certified, so we use it properly. Next question, what is your service level agreements about Rebecca? So yeah, so as I say, Syn-Star, we guarantee a 2-hour emergency response. So in an emergency, we guarantee 2 hours, but generally most tickets are picked up relatively quickly. But as I say, we stand by that service level agreement. So what should the onboarding be? How long should it take? Okay, so onboarding can take, it depends really. To get the admin credentials, as I say, it doesn't really take that long, but it's more about spending that time understanding the business, understanding how we can help, and then the tools that we use, we install it on all the devices, so it actually gives us all the information about all of the devices that the company has really quickly, and then it enables us to be able to fix stuff a lot faster, but also pick up on a lot of the remote monitoring and the updates and things like that. So really quick. We can usually have them done within a week, in terms of to properly learn your business, to learn all the you know, how we can help that company best, and what that company's growth plans are, then normally it takes kind of, you know, anything up to 3 to 6 months in reality, but the actual support side generally about a week. So I'd like to use Syn-Star. Well, that's good, thank you. But you are 200 miles away. Is this a problem? No, it's not a problem. We actually support companies all across the UK. What we would do is, as part of the onboarding, when we're building out a disaster recovery plan, we would look at, right, so if Syn-Star can't be in your building, we would respond straight away, and we've got a strong service level agreement for that. But if we can't be in your building straight away, then what we would do is we would look at all the different areas as to why would we need to get into the building, and what can we do to minimize the impact. So for example, having things like spare devices that are literally, you can plug them in, switch them on, and get back up and running again. So it's all around that disaster recovery process. The other thing is that our core foundation as a business is our journey to 100%. And we want to take you to 100% uptime. In doing that, we will be fixing things much faster, much more in depth. So it's just, it's slightly different than, yes, if you were literally 2 minutes down the road, but not really that different, and certainly no problem. So, and as I say, we've looked after many clients that are, you know, quite a distance away from us, and it's never really caused an issue, because it's all about making sure that the technology works really well, and then spending those monthly, quarterly, biannual and annual planning sessions to really understand the technology and make sure it's working well. And if there are issues, then how can we fix them? So. Right, so I think that's all for the questions, unless anyone else has got any questions. So, okay, well, thank you very much for your time today. Hope you enjoyed it. And say, do reach out. So I'm on LinkedIn for more webinars, more helpful content. We post at least a few times every week. And it's all about making sure your company chooses the best IT support for you.